Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for the warm applause and thank you for having me over. At the outset, I am going to mention a few names and I would like you to tell me what's common to each of them. Alia Bhatt, Amitabh Bachchan, Kareena Kapoor Khan, Ranveer Singh, Sridevi and Salman Khan. They are all actors. What else? I think that was the obvious one. What else? Any other guesses? Sorry? They all live in Bombay. Absolutely right. All right answers. Wonderful awareness. Correct. Okay, this is a kind of anti-climax. What's common to all of them is me. Because I have good fortune of having worked with each of the actors mentioned above and many more. And not just work, actually being in the same frame with each of them. Now, for some, this is what dreams are made of, right? Well, it was a dream for me too. Little did I know that one day this would be a reality. Before I get into my journey as an actor, let me give you a brief background about myself. I was born in November 1968 to Nancy and Robert Rodrigues. 3 years later, my brother Rohan was born. And my parents are from Bangalore. And sometime in the 60s, they came to Mumbai. And we came from a very lower middle class family. So obviously there was hardship. We lived in a chawl, just a one-room chawl, the four of us. But at that time there was nothing missing in our lives. That was the way life was. My father worked as a clerk, my mother was a homemaker. And so in school, all I remember of myself was the fact that I was an introvert. But when it came to being on stage, I was extremely comfortable. Be it for elocution competitions in school or performing in plays. And I could never, until date, I can't put a finger on it. I've never had even a single instance of stage fright. I'm talking about school days here. But I was also a very good student. I stood second in my school, and by virtue of that, I got admission into one of the top commerce colleges in Mumbai, which was Sidman College of Commerce and Economics at that time. And it was here that the actor in me found his calling. I was the chairman of the Rodrigues Society, and I won several awards over the years in terms of the best play, best director, best actor, and inter and inter-college competitions. And this was where I actually felt like I was really enjoying myself. The only time I felt truly alive was when I was on the stage. But coming from a middle class family, next objective was get the job. And for that, I got admission into MBA college, which was the SPJ Institute of Management and Research. And there again, if you speak to my colleagues, all they will tell you is that they rarely saw me in class. Because most of the time I was rehearsing for plays, because by then I had started acting on the professional stage. And I was traveling all over the country. Long career of 19 years in the professional space. And the last job that I worked in was as VP Marketing of a top food service company. But in the 19th year of my professional journey, I was burnt out. And my wife noticed this. And she said, something's amiss. My wife's name is Andrea. And I said, yes. So she said, what's the problem? And I said, I'm not enjoying my job anymore. And she said, I can see that. You don't have to tell me. So what do you want to do? So I said, I want to quit. And she was like, okay. Now it was not, I just need to say the context here. When I said I wanted to quit, Andrea and I got married at the age of 39. And she had said that if she gets pregnant and God blesses us with a child, she will quit her job. So she was working in the professional space. So at 41, we realized that she was pregnant and she quit. And at 41, we are both the same age, I come and I say, I want to quit. So when I said I wanted to quit, she said, what do you want to do then? And very tentatively I said, I want back. And you know what she said? She said, go ahead and do it. And I was shocked. Because I thought she would say no, you continue. Because there's one earning member. And I said, go ahead and do it. What about the CTC that I'm receiving from this company? What about our finances? What about our future? And she said, and then I said, listen, what I'll do is when I'm closer to retirement, I'll follow my passion. She knew that this was my passion. She knew me from many, many years when we were growing up. And she said, no, don't do that. Do it now because then you will neither have the energy or the enthusiasm. So if you feel like doing it, do it now because, and don't worry about the money. If that money is going to make you unhappy, it's not worth it. And so, very tentatively, I got the green signal. I just quit and said, I'm going to be an actor. And that is when reality struck. I didn't know anybody in this industry. I made a few phone calls and some people said, you have to get in touch with somebody called casting directors. They cast you based on your talent for projects, which are film projects. How do I get the numbers of these casting directors? Friends that I knew were in the film line, when I asked them, they would say, I don't know anybody. Typical behavior. So no grudges. Over about 5 or 6 months, I got numbers of casting directors, 3 or 4 of them. And I sent my profile, which was largely theatre. They called me for a few auditions. I gave those auditions, nothing happened. But when I went for these auditions, I met fellow actors and I said, hey guys, do you know numbers of some casting directors? And they said, yeah, this is this one. And I got one. Sent my profile out. Got called for a few auditions. Sent another. Got called for some more auditions. And that's how it started. And finally, I got my first film, which was Prakash Jha's Satyagraha, one small role. Okay? Thanks to a casting director called Shruti Mahajan. But do you know how long it took me to get that one role, just one scene? Not more than 50 seconds. It took me 3 years. 3 years of my life, I was just like a lone ranger who would take his bag with a few costume changes, go and knock on doors of casting directors and say, can you audition me for a role? Multiply by 365, that's about 1,080 odd days. And many times I gave. I sat at home. My wife saw that and she said, what's the matter? I said, it's not working. And then she said, okay, left me for a month. And then she said, listen, what are the chances of you getting a role if you sit at home? I started thinking, I thought there was an intellectual answer. And she said, I'll simplify it for you. It's 0. So I said, okay. And what are the chances that if you go out and audition for a role, what are the chances? I get thought of some intellectual answer, but she said it's 0.0001, right? So that's better than 0. I didn't need any more boarding after that. I picked up my bag and the next day I started going out. Long story short, in the last 12 years, I've done about 20 movies with all the names that I mentioned before, over 20 web series, and a lot of filter copy videos that we talked about, and more, that may be very popular amongst the youth. And I am extremely grateful to God for this wonderful journey, the second innings of my life, and more importantly, for my spouse to encourage me to follow this dream. because otherwise it wouldn't have happened. I've had the most beautiful 12 years of my life. So what I want to do is, in the last few minutes, share some key takeaways or some life lessons that I picked up on the way and share them with you. Hopefully they will be of some use to you. I just want to share 3 key takeaways or 3 life lessons that I learned. Now the first one is, know yourself. At some time in our life, we tend to wear masks, right? Because we tend to show our side that is best to the world that we live in. That's our endeavor constantly. And the question is, how long is that sustainable? I'm talking about myself. I have to learn this because in the industry that I am, wearing masks is very, very normal. But it tires you out. It tires you out. And I had to dig deep to find out who I really was. It took me years. But honestly, that's the space. When you start operating from that space, you're at peace. The world is the same. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Everyone's the same. It's just these masks or these demons that you had in your head saying, operate from here and operate from here, you have constructed it. When you operate from that space of who you really are, it's far more authentic and far more endearing to people. You know, when we want something today, there is the internet. You just Google something and all the information is available to you. What I had to do was dig deep into myself and listen to my inner voice. You know, some call it the gut, some call it the sixth sense, some call it intuition. I call it the inner net. I had to dig deep into my soul and my mind. And if you're peace with the various techniques, I'll not get into that. Your inner self, your inner net will speak to you, but it never shouts. It's quite a chaotic word out there. Constant badgering, look at the news, everything is loud. The inner voice whispers. And so your mind and your soul has to be pretty well fine-tuned to listen to those whispers. And those were the whispers that I had heard about pursuing my acting journey. Go for it. Do it. The second life lesson that I learned was stay the course. Find the things that make your eyes light up and then just do them. Just do that. For me it was acting, for some of you it could be something else, but do more of those because they will actually make you feel alive. You know, I was recently, I chanced by this video by a professor from Stanford University, and he said, one of the things keeping people from pursuing their dreams, these are professionals who are working, but they have dreams, is 2 words. Not now. Or 4 words. First I have to get a bank balance of so much so that I am secure. Then, not now. First I have to get a house. No, first I get married. Then, even though the inner voice is correct. Not now. And first I have to fear insidiously disguised as logic. Think about it. Remember that the captain of the ship is the last person to abandon the ship, even with sinking. So never ever abandon your ship when you're pursuing something. Commit to it. And that ship is your life. Never ever abandon it. The last life lesson that I learned was believe in a higher power. Quite often some of us are under the illusion that we are the masters of our own destiny. I have a personal perspective on this. What according to you are the 2 most important milestones in our life? Anybody? 2 most important milestones. in everybody's life, in this, including mine. Sorry? Yeah, it's birth and it's death. All of us go through that. So my next question is, if birth and death are the two most, because that's when they exist here, we're born and we may die. If birth and death are the two most important milestones in our lives, do we have any control over either of them? So do we have control over when we would be born, what gender, to which parents we would be born, which country we would be born in, what time, full term, mid-term, preterm? And the answer is absolutely not. And the second milestone, which is death, likewise, do we have any control over when we will die, how we will die, where we will die? Will we die at home, in a hospital, in an accident? We don't. So, if we do not have control over the two most important milestones, it's birth and death, and honestly, I believe that we have no control over the outcomes between birth and death. I'm choosing my words very carefully. No control over the outcomes between birth and death. Those outcomes lie in the domain of God, Ishwar, Allah, higher power, or the universe. All we have control, and most religious texts will tell you, are the actions between birth and death. And so, if that is the case, trust that there is a power greater than you that is waiting there for you to ask to help you on your journey. Most of us don't do that. So in conclusion, I've had a fantastic journey of 12 years. It feels like life has just begun for me at 55. I wasn't created for anything in the world, and that's only because I decided to pursue my dreams. Yes, there has been frustration, yes, there has been hardship, but there has also been fulfillment and there has been growth. And if any of you feel you're too old to start, look at my grey hair. It's not too late to start, because remember this, that when the caterpillar thought that its life was over, it turned into a butterfly. Thank you very much.